All right, here we go. In the bottom right-hand position as the blue Zerg, it is Evil Genius's Suppy. And his opponent spawning to the bottom left-hand position is his teammate, the round of 8 Premier Season 2 player. It is Evil Genius's Oz.
Yeah, Oz, he showcased some good decision-making last game. It was so smart to keep his attack force to deny Suppy's third for a long time. He was able to defend the front of his base just fine. He had a recall, so he was never in any danger. And through that, he was able to gain a good advantage against Suppy. And also, just by staying there and keeping Suppy on 2 bases, he totally limits the options Suppy can do. Suppy's not going to go Roaches or Roach Hydra on 2 bases. So Oz was able to kind of narrow down the strategies that Suppy was doing early on.
Don't you almost think like 2-base Hydra would have been great in that position, though?
No. I think it would be pretty all-in. I think it'd be easy to scout with a Hallucinated Phoenix. And then with Oz scouting it, he can just go for Quasi and use put an overcharge to defend any timings before that.
Well, he doesn't even need to get that many Hydras, though. It could be just like a regular Zergling Hydra composition into a 3rd, 4th base. Is that going to give you enough time? Because think, it's still...
I don't think so. Hydras are just so expensive. If you want them to really pay off in this situation, I think you need about 14. Maybe 12 to 14, and that takes about 700 gas, actually.
Yes.
And if you get an upgrade for them, it's even more. So I think Suppy's decision-making was good to go Lings. I think he just needed a quicker third and to not do that one attack.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely see a big change up over here. Forge is going to be thrown down for E.G. Oz, so he's going to instead go for this Forge Fast expansion, starting with the Nexus first. And that's going to be really, really interesting. Just a nice change.
Yeah. Suppy, he is scouting this location with the Overlord first, however. This is going to be good for him. He'll know it's a Forge expand. He'll know he's safe with his quick 3 bases, and he can just go for the standard 6-minute gases.
I want to look at the 3rd bases real quick because I want to show people why it's so unattractive to take the 3rd as a Protoss. If you take it over here, look at how close. Like, there's this is the Tasteless Secret Hallway back here that Zergs can just go to immediately. So you can see this distance from over here to just this main, I guess, area where a lot of Zergs will mass up. It's just a very short distance, so it makes it so unattractive. Then you have to defend over here. You have to defend this large position. It's just not a good time. And of course, the 3rd base over here is really tough to take. So I'm wondering, how does Protoss actually play out this map? Because I don't feel like there's a lot of great ways to do it. If you want to take a 3rd, I think this is the better 3rd to take, even though it's closer. But at least you can keep your army right here and then defend this area, maybe gateway wall off over here, and then just have this open.
I think on this map, you're still going to usually want to take the 3rd base. Of course, you mix up your plays some. This map isn't the best for all the 2-base timings, though, because it's kind of wide open in front of the natural and between the 3rd base. So force fields aren't as effective in this area. Often I see Protoss go for a 3rd, and Protosses like to do this at different times.
Okay.
We do see a quick +1 coming down on the Forge for Oz. We'll have to see if he wants to use that for any potential timing attack. He hasn't made any gases at his expansion yet, so we could still see something like a 7 or 8 gate coming out of him.
Yeah, that's the good part about this map. I mean, it's so easy to hide these gases. Where are you going to...
Yeah.
It's a 4-player map. The probability that you get an Overlord in good position is so low. And then even that, you have to swing your Overlord all the way around here just to get a spot on those 2 gases. So
yeah, I think we will actually see... Oh, no, he's taking the gases now, but... yeah, like you said, Suppy, he doesn't have much scouting intel right now. He's going to try to slip in with his Overlord at the bottom right, but I don't think it'll see much. It might see some areas of the main that don't have stuff in it, but it's not going to see any tech bonings or any gateways before it dies, I don't think.
Well, it looks like Oz actually doesn't have any units over there to parry that Overlord, so it will get in there all the way. He is poking up in the front. There are Zerglings and a single Queen that are kind of deflecting this as well. Creep Tumor did take a little bit of damage, but it looks like double... Is this double Evo? No, Evo Roach Warren is going to be thrown down. The Stargate was not scouted out, by the way. It's double Stargate. Whoa.
I'm actually so surprised that he's doing this. He doesn't have a Stalker in his main to kill that Overlord, and he knows the Overlord is in his main. If it just goes over, it can see the double Stargates.
Yeah.
So
he's going to do that.
Yeah, and he put them right next to each other too. He could have hidden it in his expansion, but he just put them both in his main.
And
I think it'll get scouted too.
Yeah, both of them got scouted here.
He does have a third down already though.
That's kind of crazy. So this is like a very big harass-centric opening from Protoss, and he's just hoping, this is his plan, he's hoping that his opponent is just so preoccupied with this double Stargate that he doesn't mount an attack to kill this third base. But it's very clear what Suppy should do. Just build up Zergling Roach, well, he's already doing that, building up Zergling Roach and deny that third, and make it in a position where you just don't have the infrastructure to really do anything. You can't.
I think we'll see a quick attack with the Zergling speed finishing to try to deny the third, and this is very effective. I've seen several Zergs in Korea, such as Savage. He does this almost every time he sees a fast third, and almost always I see him kill the third. I think Oz is going to have a difficult time holding this.
Well, let's take a look. Because Oz does have a Photon Overcharge. Another one is going to be up in like 80 seconds or so. And Photon Overcharge is going to be committed here, but there's just too much stuff. Void Ray gets into the position. But again, I mean, there's so many little units, it might not even matter. The Nexus is already down to 75 or 25% life, and down it will go. It's just way, way too much. There's a Phoenix going over to scout everything, but there's a lot of pylons. There's all the ground units that are dying. These are cannons. This puts Suppy so monstrously ahead.
Yeah, Oz, if he pulls it together though, I think his best chance is macroing from this position. Suppy has a lot of units and Zerglings on the map now. I don't think there's any chance for Oz to win with a timing attack. I don't think he's too far behind. The supplies aren't looking that bad for him, and he has a good tech setup as well. So I think if he just macros and takes the later third, he'll still be in an okay spot. Suppy obviously has a pretty big advantage killing the third, but it's definitely not game over yet. His tech isn't too far advanced, and for Suppy's I mean. And if Oz just makes them Colossi and Void Rays and takes the third, I think he can be in an okay position to go into the mid game.
It's still going to be tough. I mean, Suppy still has that advantage. He has such a head start on where he can go from here. So he's probably going to look to take a fourth pretty soon here as well. He has that composition advantage where he is Hydras against air units. And don't get me wrong, that's not always great, but a lot of times you are able to reap the benefits if you are the Hydraing player and you don't overdo it. You take the right engagements. You can see Colossus are going to be used over here. Infestation Pit goes down. But the real question is, where does Suppy exercise his advantage? I feel like Oz is doing that precision-based play of PvZ, where he's just trying to get the absolute right composition of units and not get a lot of units. That way he can just build on that and build on that and ultimately get that invincible army composition where it's like Void Rays, Colossus, a lot of ground units, and then he has that ability to switch over to High Templars or whatever it might be a little bit later on.
Yeah, Suppy has a couple of choices. The most common of these are going into Vipers pretty fast or going for Corruptors to kill the Colossi. But I think Corruptors is not the best choice because of the Void Rays.
Yeah, me too.
One other thing you can do is you can go Mutalisk to force out Phoenixes, and then you go into Corruptors with Earth Hydra after. And he has less ground units and to help defend.
And even less anti-air. I mean, normally you need Stalkers, you need Void Rays to deal with those Corruptors. Normally the Mutas can take out the Void Rays in that exchange somehow. Just because they lag, it's hard to micro them, especially because there's such a high micro unit.
I think Corruptors can still be very effective, though, if Oz doesn't make more Void Rays. 3 Void Rays is okay, but it can't kill Corruptors that fast. If you get about 10 Corruptors, you can target down all those Colossi before the Void Rays kill them, usually.
Okay.
So we'll have to see. I think he might be doing Corruptors. He doesn't have enough gas bank to do much of a Muta switch now.
Well, he is pressuring this third base, which I definitely agree with. Just constantly poke and prod and see if you can just take out this third base, because any form of delay is going to work out really, really well.
And he got it.
Beautifully done. But he does have 3 Colossus out there, so it forces some sort of reaction. There it is. It will be those 10 Corruptors.
This is an interesting situation, though. With Oz adding on more Void Rays, I'd actually give Oz a lead right now.
Really?
Despite Suppy.
Yeah.
Like, Suppy, he's had the advantage, but I don't think he's using it to go down the right tech path here. I think Oz knows what's coming because he's making more Void Rays. He already has 4 Colossi on the field, and he's about to have 5 Void Rays. Despite his third dying and then being delayed and cancelled, supply-wise, I think his army is going to be big enough to deal with what Suppy can throw at him.
Yeah, I almost think so. Like, he's guaranteed a cost-efficient engagement.
Yeah,
right.
I think he's going to kill this 4th base too.
Yes, he will. The Zealots are going to be too much, and down it goes. He will be able to trade out a couple of Zerglings here, but even that's not going to be enough supply. I think Vipers, for sure, would have been the much, much better opening here.
This attack on the 4th, besides killing it, it's delayed any time in Suppy, and the longer it's delayed, the better position Oz is in. If Oz gets to about 170, 180 supply with this composition against what Suppy has, I don't think there's any way Suppy can break him. I think if Suppy wants to have any chance, he has to go now, and he is.
He is rallying everything over right outside of the base. The question is, how does he actually engage this? Because it doesn't look like he has a lot of good engagement spots. He's going to bait a couple of units with these roaches over here. Going to do the same thing that he did before. Corruptors looking... Oh, wow.
Baited out the charge.
Yeah, that's really good. Prismatic alignment already being used. He shouldn't be attacking here. Just wait a couple more seconds and then go in. It looks like Suppy does have that patience right now. He's just going to wait a little bit more.
It's still going to be tough, though. Oz, he's amassed a lot of stuff. He has a lot of Void Rays. And if Suppy even misclicks once on these Colossi with his Corruptors, then he's not going to kill all of them. Yeah. But it looks like he's doing a good job. He's taken down 2, 3 Colossi. And I don't think there's enough ground units left for Oz.
Yeah, there is another Warp and is going to supplement a lot of the health pool between those Colossus. Even the Void Rays doing a lot of damage. Zerglings coming in here, but it's not going to be enough. Those Void Rays are doing work, Mike. 6 Void Rays out, that's it. And they're able to clean up all the Corruptors so efficiency. Units lost tab, let's look at that. A 5,000, almost 6,000 difference. Really well done. Is that going to be enough?
Yeah, I think Oz is in a really advantageous position now. Suppy's 4th just finished. He's not mining from it yet, so he doesn't really have an economic advantage over Oz. And composition-wise, he's still in the same position he was, except worse because he has no Corruptors now. I think if there was one mistake, it was maybe he didn't have enough roaches and it was too Hydra heavy. Because although he killed the Class A very quickly, it's super good target firing actually from the Corruptors, he lost too many of his Hydralisks before they died, and then his army just melted.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need those roaches to tank it, but I really think it came down to maxing. As Zerg, you do not want to be maxing until you absolutely know exactly what composition he has. And I understand that Suppy was trying to just to overwhelm him. He was doing a good job through the first 13, 14 minutes of it, but you have to be so careful because this is all Protoss matchups, let's be honest, are composition based.
Yeah,
like
we just saw how difficult it was for his composition there. Everything went right for him before the engagement. Like, the Void Rays all used the charge and didn't have it for the fight.
Yeah.
And he targeted all the Class A down. When all the Protoss units are stacked like that, sometimes you're misclick and click on a Void Ray once, and they won't be able to kill the Class A's quick, but he didn't do that either. And he got a pretty good concave as well. It was just, he didn't have enough stuff to beat the composition that Oz had, so.
Yeah.
I do like the the Infestors that Suppy's making now. This is a much better choice than before. Against any player who's making a lot of Void Rays, Infestors can add a lot. It locks down the units of the Protoss, and it deals a lot of damage. With this kind of composition, all of the Protoss units are stacked on top of each other in most fights, so the area of effect from the Infestors really pays off.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know it's still a very large scale unit to use, but it definitely works out really well. I'm really worried, though, he still has no tanking units. It's still Zerglings and Hydras, which get absolutely evaporated to those Colossus. Still need those roaches or some sort of tanking unit, but I don't think he's looking for an engagement right now. He's just sharking around the map, just saying, hey, do not attack me, and seeing how much time he can buy, which I do agree with that. Oz looking to take his 4th base now over here in the mid left-hand position. Hey, he's been doing a good job at just claiming his expansions, even though that first time was a little bit late. After that, I mean, he took his 3rd, he took his 4th base now. It's all at pretty reasonable times, as his main has already cleared up here. Oh, and a big engagement. Time Warp is going to be placed down, and a big blink up to kill a couple more of these Hydras.
Yeah, Suppy trying to get away without losing anything if he can. He realized that that's not really the ideal position to engage. It was super choked up there, so I think retreating is the correct choice. This area that Oz is moving into is not a good position for him, though. This is about as open as it can get.
Yeah,
I still think his army is good enough, though.
Yeah, I mean, he just has way too much stuff. Again, no tanking units, really. The Hydras and the Queens are basically the same range, and everything is going to be absolutely shredded. Down goes everything. I don't even think Oz lost that much stuff. Units lost tab, let's take a look at that. 12,000, 21,000, so a big, big increase in that efficiency for Oz.
Yeah, the quasi Void Ray combo is just so efficient against Roach Hydro Viper or Roach Hydro Corruptor. I mean, you need Viper, you need Swarmers, you need something else in the field. Kind of trying to hit a timing attack to finish him, but the timing attack was a bit too late, so that didn't work out.
Yeah, that has to come down when there's literally no stalkers out in the field. Yeah, it's just like Zealot, Sentry, a couple of Void Rays, a couple of Colossus.
It's kind of all in to do that actually in CVP. Like, it'll either kill his whole army or it'll fail kind of miserably.
Yeah.
This time it failed.
It almost comes down to the Protoss too. I feel like they get to choose just based on how well they force field out, just how they position, etc., etc. But it looks like a Muta switch is going to happen here, but it's a little bit too little, too late. It's a lot of it.
Oz is on top of it, man. Like last game we saw him make the Tempest before knowing the Brood Lords. This game he has the Fleet Beacon finishing now too. Like, and he's making Phoenixes now.
Yeah, he's very.
I don't know how he knows this. Like, he's realizing things after the game is ending. So I mean, it doesn't matter too much. But still, I'm impressed by how much he's able to tell about what his opponent's going to do next.
Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to. I think a lot of PvZ comes down to like preparing the reaction before Zerg actually does it. Because I'm sure you've witnessed some of those games where it's like you go mutas and they perfectly have like 8 Phoenixes ready for you.
Yeah.
And it's the most depressing thing in the world. Third base is going to be attacked over here, but I don't think much will come of. Well, I know for sure much won't come of it. Looks like he does go ahead and recall home. Blink Stalkers will be able to clean everything up as the mutas are trying to do a little bit of damage here. Suppy just trying to fight last ounce that he has.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to give up. And every match is so important, especially the first match. You don't want to be down to the loser's match and have to play 2 more matches. I mean, all of these players want to make it to the finals in Toronto, so they're trying their best. I mean, Suppy is in a tough spot now, though. His supply is so low, he doesn't have enough Mutalisk to deal with the Stalker count, and base trading isn't actually going to work with either, so.
Yeah, definitely not. Suppy sending a couple of drones all the way out just to make sure he consistently lives. He's just trying to do anything he possibly can.
Yeah, I think he's trying to isolate these Protoss units from the Stalkers and then kill them while they're separated, but although he might kill his Void Rays, it's not going to help him too much. He doesn't have any ground units to support his mutas, and he doesn't have enough mutas to win his mutas alone, so.
He's trying to get them. He did make a Spire recently, but yeah, it's going to be curtain calls pretty soon here for Suppy, as Phoenix is just way, way too good. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Although Oz, yeah, he is mining over here, so definitely for sure Oz, there is a 0% chance of him leaving, or not leaving, losing. But yeah, really cool stuff from Oz, I think, overall. And there it is. GG, ladies and gentlemen. Suppy will